So guys, about 2 years has passed now since I did my video about making money with the Eos-m, and look at this crazy rig which I built. But I actually loved it at the time. It was functional and it worked well. So moving on now, I asked on the group about, people using it for professional work and using monitors and looking at their rigs and all the photos, and things have evolved so much since that time, since 2 years ago. And people are doing all sorts of things now, rigging and using them for work and documentaries and run and gun. I must admit, most people are using them for run and gun, but it's still amazing to see all of the rig builds and the stuff that people are using. Absolutely fantastic on the group, amazing. But we got to look at something else first.
Attention!
I said before about using 1080p because it's the most stable. So here's a clip with just an ND filter, and we're going to concentrate on the washing line here. And I want to show you another one with an ND filter and a Tiffin Pro Mist, and you're going to see the difference between the two. If you're using a Pro Mist, you can see the difference it makes in the aliasing when you're using 1080p. Let me say it again. Look at the difference you can see. Trust me guys, if you're going to shoot 1080p the most reliable, get a Pro Mist or some sort of diffusion filter. So guys, what do you think? I mean, it's a crazy little build we got here, man, and it took me a while to figure this out because I wanted to make this special. But arguably one of the best looking cams on the market at the moment is the red Komodo, and I wanted to make the Eos-m here fit into like a red Komodo shape. So here you can see on this rig that I've got the Eos-m tucked right in the middle there, and you see how small it looks. It's crazy. And it's actually attached to an M100 cage, and I cut this cage in half, and I wish I really didn't do that because they're so hard to get now, but I cut it in half to make it fit a different camera. But such is life, it can still be used and it's still strong, so that's the most important thing. So yeah, that's it there, and the Eos-m just fits in nicely. As you can see here, I've got a NATO rail on the top, which is a NITSI NATO rail, and you can see on the side here I've got the NITSI ARRI Rosette adapter as well, which I showed in my Panasonic video, the BGH1 Pro rig, and those just allow me to attach my side handle, my top handle, and all my other accessories, which you can see mounted on there as well. So I've got my ARRI DIY handle on at the moment, which I converted into an ARRI Rosette and made it look all new again. And I've put a Smallrig cold shoe on the top here as well, and that's what holds my Rode Wireless Go. Fits in just nicely up there, everything's tucked out the way, it's amazing. On the back here you can see I've got an Mpf plate. Now this is a cheap one which I got with my Blackmagic. I actually just cut off the other side of the wire and just put it on there, and you can see the Mpf battery that fits on the top as well. That's a big old Mpf battery that lasts for about roughly the same as 8 Canon LPE12s, so you got battery for days on there. And when I've sprayed them all, because I sprayed them and lacquered them with all appliance white gloss and then lacquered them a couple of coats, but I took off the sticker, sprayed it, then put the sticker back on, so when you press the button you can still see your battery life, so you got a full readout. Really love the way that this come out, and it's really good. The paints come out really good, really strong. And you can see I've got a Sigma attached, and I've got my white Viltrox, but this was a black Viltrox, but again it's coated in appliance white and then glossed, and you might have seen that before, which I had the on my previous Stormtrooper build. And the Eos-m is attached to like a Manfrotto base plate on there. So the battery pack at the back and the Eos-m are attached to a Manfrotto base plate. So I can slide the whole thing away, take out my battery or whatever, and then slide it back on, use it on a tripod. So very handy this is, very good rig. So yeah guys, I mean that's it, it's amazing, and I really love shooting with it, and yeah, it's crazy. Oh, and just in this gap here, you can see I've got like, to close this gap, I've got like a little cloth in here, which I use to clean lenses or filters or, you know, my screen or whatever. And it tucks away nicely in there. It's like a nice little pocket for the Eos-m. I don't really need to worry about the monitor on the Eos-m because I use the monitor, which is on the top here, and I just use the buttons to navigate. So the build looks amazing, and it looks a lot like a Red Komodo 6K, but we need to ask ourselves a few questions. Is there any corruption with the monitor? What about rig performance? And is the footage any good? So let's take a look now. So I'm happy to say that there was no problems with today's footage. Everything came out absolutely amazing, but there were a few changes I had to make in MLV app first. So I'm going to run you through those changes which I had to make because these are very important to trouble-free shooting. So you open magiclantern by pressing the trash can down and you come over to the movie tab. And then we need to go down to FPS Override and lock that. So turn that on, okay? Locking that will help you to reduce those corrupted frames, but there's a few more things we have to do. I came over to the bit depth and I changed that to 10-bit. So 12-bit, you got off, which is 14-bit, then you've got 10-bit, then you've got 12-bit. I chose it to 10-bit, didn't notice much difference in the footage, so 10-bit it is, and that was absolutely amazing. Coming from the BGH one, I know that 10-bit is good enough. I also came over to the display tab and clear overlays, I turned that on whilst recording. So there's a lot of options in here, but just turn it off whilst recording and you're good to go. You can still see all of your details here, so make sure you check those first, that everything's right. And then when you press the record button, everything will disappear. But because you haven't got these graphics and these overlays, magiclantern is then free to just record without too much hiccups. And in 1080p, it works absolutely amazing. So what's the conclusion of all this? I mean, the rig looks absolutely fantastic, but do people want to go this far? Most people want to use their Canon Eos-m in a small handheld fashion, and I'm one of them. But there's times when a bigger rig for stability, for that professional look, and the monitor and the handles, they really help sometimes when you're doing, you know, a big, more important gig. And now using 1080p with the settings which I've given you, it's possible. And I know that a lot of people are still going to say, no, it's too much. You know, the camera's so small. And like I said, I do agree. I'm one of you. I prefer nice small rigs that I can just throw in a bag and move along. But sometimes there are times when a big rig is called for. So be happy that we can either strip it down or go big if we want to. But guys, just enjoy your Eos-m and keep shooting. Take care and I'll see you on the next one. Later.